are picking up on objective 14. We were dividing by binomials, and we are going to talk about what I call commercials today. Now, before we start this problem, explain to me what a commercial is. And somebody earlier said it's an advertisement, but really what I'm talking about is you're watching your program, right? And it gets interrupted by a commercial, and you have to sit there, unless you have DVR or something, but you have to sit there and work through the commercial. You have to wait through the commercial. You with me? And then you can get back to your program and finish your program. So what we're going to talk about is a commercial in our problem. We will be working through our problem, and then we get to a point where we have to do something different. You with me? There is a little break in the problem, and you have to work through that before you can get back to the rest of your problem and be able to finish. Okay, so let's talk about what makes this type of problem. So when we divide, and I will tell you, if you look under the quotient bar, normally our polynomials go down in descending order. Everybody agree with that? Check this out. This starts with a degree of 3, then goes to a degree of, and then goes to a degree of, uh-oh, it skipped 1, did it not? What did it skip? It skipped a 1. And because it skips a degree, means that you will have what I call a commercial in your problem. Okay, that's how you know that this is not like what we were doing yesterday. Okay, so if we go ahead and divide, we're going to start like normal. R goes into 2r cubed, how many times? 2r squared. Very good. So then what are we going to do with 2r squared? We're going to multiply it to each of those. So 2r squared times r is 2r cubed. 2r squared times negative 2r, or excuse me, 2r squared times negative 1 is negative 2r squared. We normally subtract, but we will change. We're going to add the opposite, okay, and change our signs. So these will cancel. Do those cancel? No. 2r squared and 2r squared gives us 4r squared. And everybody says, I don't see anything different. Well, not yet. You got to keep going, okay? R times what is 4r squared? 4r. Very good. So 4r times r is 4r squared. 4r times negative 1 is negative 4r. We normally subtract, but we will change. We're going to add the opposite. Everybody with me so far? What happens here? These cancel. What happens here? And use your brain. You add those and you get an R? Really? Use your brain. No, we're adding here. Don't we normally add them? It all cancels? Really? Oh, come on, guys. Let's use our brains. I'm not going to tell you this one. Tell me what you know about adding polynomials. They have to have the same variable raised to the same power, right? So tell me about this. Can you add those? Okay, thank you. Whew, y'all just told me 2 seconds ago that you could add them and that they cancel. What? We got a test on this tomorrow. No, you can't add those. This has a degree of 1, and this has a degree of 0. Memory, temporary lapse of judgment, right? Okay, we're better now, right? Okay, so, you were trying to say that, right? Okay. That's okay, though. Everybody understand you can't add those. They don't match. Okay, one has a degree of 1 and one has a degree of 0. So welcome to your commercial. We've got to find a way to work through this before we can get through the rest of our problem. So I need a commercial. Who's got one for me? A slogan of any type?
O'Reilly again.
Is that the O'Reilly's Auto Parts? Ow. Yes? Okay, good one. Keep thinking, because I need them off the top of my head. I had a bunch in first block. So here we go. Here's how you work through a commercial. So this is what it is. Somewhere along the way in your problem, something will not match. You will not be able to add them. So what do? You're going to bring both of these pieces down. Now the question is, which one do you bring down first? The negative 4r or the positive 4? The negative 4 or the positive 4r? Why? Normally we always start with the highest degree and then go in descending order. So if you don't bring down the highest degree, it won't work. Does that make sense? You got to bring down the biggest degree first. So now we're going to divide again. So we're still working through our commercial. R times what is 4r? Times 4. So 4 times r is 4r, and 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. We normally subtract, but we will add the opposite of this and the opposite of that. So these will and these will. So you have a 0 remainder. So now you're finished. Okay? Let's look at another one. Everybody okay with me? Sort of? It will click here in about 2 seconds. So let's go ahead and set this one up. 9n cubed minus 13n plus 8. Do we have a missing degree? Yeah, we go from a degree of 3 down to a degree of 1 and then to a degree of 0. So we are missing a degree of 2. So what does that tell us? We will have a commercial. Okay, so how do we start? We start by dividing like normal. 3 goes into 9 how many times? 3 times, right? 3 goes into 3, or excuse me, 3 goes into 9 3 times. And you got 1 in. You need 2 more, very good, n squared to get 3n cubed. So here we go. 3n squared times 3n is 9n cubed. 3n squared times negative 1 is negative 3n squared. We normally subtract, but we will change, 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 and add the opposite. These will cancel. What do you do here? Can you add those? No, they do not match. So here's your commercial. I need a commercial. Ready? How do you say that? Awesome. Yes, very good. All right, here we go. It's all good. So which one do we bring down first? The highest power. So 3n squared comes first, and then comes negative 3n. And we're going to divide again. We have to work through this before we can get to and bring down the 8 and continue with our problems. That makes sense? So we got to kind of take a little break in the middle of our problem, divide again, and then we'll be able to bring down the 8. So 3n times what, Jordan, is 3n squared? N. Just an n. Does that make sense? So n times 3n is 3n squared, and n times negative 1 is negative 1n. We normally subtract, but we are going to change, change, change. So those cancel. Now things match, right? And so negative 3n plus 1n is negative 12n. And back to our regularly scheduled program, we can now bring down the 8. You follow? So all this middle stuff here was a break in our problem. So we're going to divide one more time. 3n times what is negative 12n? Negative 4. And again, look at your answer. Degree of 2, degree of 1, degree of 0, and then maybe a remainder. Okay, so it should make sense. Negative 4 times 3n is negative 12n. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. We normally subtract. Change, change, change. Those cancel, and 8 and negative 4 gives me, and that's your remainder, which goes over top of your divisor. So plus 4 over 3n minus 1. Did I have any light bulbs go off? Like, I understand what you're talking about now? Kind of? Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is I want you to try this one on your own. Will it have a commercial? Which degree is it skipping? 2. It's skipping a degree of 2. So t plus 4 is divided into t cubed minus 2t minus 4. All right. Somebody want to offer me an answer? Good. Caitlin volunteered. What's Hannah got? You like that one? Anybody else like that one? You got a couple takers here. What's Harvey got? Not what you just said? You said plus 4t, right? Right? Is that what you're talking about? Is it the 4t? You got minus 4t? You got minus 4t? You got minus 4t? Minus 4t? So we'll talk. We'll see. Anybody else? Okay, so it might get stuck in the middle of it, and you don't know where to go. So here we go. Let's follow with me slowly. T times what is t cubed? T squared. So we're going to put a t squared up top, and we're going to take this t squared, and I'm going to multiply it down to both. T squared times t is t cubed. T squared times 4 is plus 4t squared. We normally subtract, but we will change. We're going to add the opposite. Okay? So, those cancel. Do these match? No. So, welcome to your commercial. I need a commercial. Caitlin did so good a minute ago. Give me another one. Come on. Nationwide is on your side. All right, here we go. So, y'all are so much fun. Which one are we going to bring down first? The negative 4t squared, and then the negative 2t. Okay, got to bring down the largest degree first. Any questions so far? So, Lucy, I have a t. What more do I need to make this? I've got a t. What else do I need to match that? What else does this have that this doesn't have? How many more t's do you need? I need 2 here. I've got 1. So I need 1 more t. Do you agree with that? I need a t. And I also need this guy right here. I need a negative 4. Does that make sense? So that's what I say. I have a t. What else do I need to make this? And so I look at what this has that this doesn't have, and then I put that up top. Okay? So negative 4t times t is negative 4t squared. Negative 4t times 4 is negative 16t. Aha! They now match. But before we start adding, we normally subtract, but we will change. These will cancel. What does this give us? 14t minus 4. Any questions on that? We're going to divide again. T times what is 14t? A positive 14. So 14 times t is 14t. 14 times 4 is 56. So we will subtract, but we change. Those cancel. Negative 4 and negative 56 gives us negative 60. So there's your remainder. So minus 60 over t plus 4. If you got stuck in the middle of it, do you know where you went wrong? So hopefully on the next one you can get a little further. Okay? How many feel kind of okay? We just need more practice. Yes? I mean, as far as like you kind of understand what we're doing? Kind of? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some practice.